Hey guys, Kevin here, and I have something special for you today. This comes from the College Fix. Georgia Tech publishes two-page inclusivity checklists for campus events. Created by the Student Government's Cultural and Diversity Affairs Committee, the document aims its focus at generating inclusion when it comes to the food, content, event planning, and everything involved in campus events. Guys, this thing is worse than it sounds, and I'm going to read it to you. It is basically a checklist that is every authoritarian cultural Marxist wet dream. And it shows us exactly what a lot of people have been saying for a long time, that these people are authoritarians who want to control every aspect of human life. So let me begin. Alright, so section 1 is food. Ensure that the food served at your event accommodates diverse needs. So what do they mean, like fried chicken and watermelon, then maybe some Wonder Bread with mayonnaise, and then, of course, the tacos. Don't forget the tacos. Consider allergies and dietary restrictions of participants. Halal, kosher, Jain, which is a lacto-vegetarian and no root vegetables diet. So most people don't know what halal or kosher is. They're definitely not going to know what Jain is. Non-beef, non-pork options, vegetarian and vegan. So no beef, no pork, vegetarian, vegan. What if you're a carnivore? What if you only eat meat? That's discriminatory, guys. They are discriminating against those of us who are on a strict bacon diet. Keep areas separate and clean. Low sugar, low carb, gluten-free, soy-free options, basically taste-free. You can bring cardboard. That's what they're saying here. You can bring cardboard and people can eat that. Use labels. Be wary of mixed utensils. Make sure to have non-alcoholic beverages at the event. God forbid anybody has any fun, right? Is the food accessible from a seated position? Yeah, so make sure that you serve the food on the floor, basically. So that's the first section there. Basically, what they're doing here is making it to where it's going to be so impossible to serve any food that people are just not going to bring food. You know, it's that old thing. One person's ruining it for everybody. In this case, the one person is the social justice warriors, and they ruin everything for all of society. All right, guys, here's the fun part. Content. Avoid generalizations and sexist language. Don't use pronouns like he. Use women and not females or girls. So wait, you can use women, but you can't use he? That sounds a little discriminatory. Avoid hypermasculinity, promoting or assuming a standard for manliness. Of course there's a standard for manliness. It's called having a penis. Be aware of jokes. Avoid slut-shaming, any joke demeaning to women or other diverse people. So, yeah, I guess they're saying have at it with white men, but otherwise no jokes, right? Take your own privilege into account, so basically screw you white men. Include people of all genders, races, ethnicities, religious backgrounds, social statuses, and etc. So basically, you can't have a group because groups denote in-group preferences. Otherwise, you'd be the opposite of a group, which is the general public. Come on, it's not like people were discriminating against people before. People had agency. Well, maybe some people were discriminating. See, this is where the left always cannibalize themselves, because you know the groups that are discriminating against people are like the Black Lives Matter clubs and these groups we see all the time like Antifa, who won't let Republicans in their meetings. So it's going to backfire on them. Consider collaborating with cultural organizations to promote inclusivity. Incorporate discussions and workshops about LGBTQIA topics into your meetings and programs. So remember, guys, this isn't about social studies or any kind of humanities. This is about every program or group on campus. So the campus is endorsing LGBTQIA topics and telling you that you have to push their propaganda. Be prepared to challenge homophobic, transphobic ideas and opinions during the event. Yeah, try us. Go ahead and try us. Look, I have an idea that trans people have a mental illness, and I can prove it. It is in the DSMV. So try to challenge that. It's not just an opinion either. But here's the thing, guys. Who's deeming what is transphobic or homophobic? And really, to me, transphobia is not admitting that there is a personality identity disorder there and that it should be treated, because these people are screwing over the whole trans community. They are the ones who are responsible for the 45% suicide rate amongst trans people, because they're telling them there's nothing wrong and you don't need psychiatric help, when that's not true at all. They do. Warn participants of sensitive content, include trigger warnings, i.e. rape, sexual assault, racism, self-harm, transphobia, homophobia, violence, etc. So basically just say trigger warning every 2 minutes. Trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning, and you'll be good. Next section. Section 3, event planning. Design your event to account for the diverse needs of attendees. Take into account religious considerations, space for Muslim students to pray if the event is most of the day. This bothers me, guys. You remember that football coach and principal who got fired for saying the prayer at a football game? Well, yeah, these people who did that are now saying that they need to have space for Muslim students to pray at events. Consider gender inclusivity and diversity. Arrange for gender-inclusive housing for overnight events. I don't know what that means, gender inclusive. We all have gender, so why does it have to be inclusive? Are they saying that men and women can't sleep in the same house? Assess the availability of gender-neutral restrooms. Preferred name, pronouns on name tags. So basically, just write whatever. I'm a Pop-Tart. So write on my name tag, Pop-Tart. Nothing matters anymore. Arrange to go through safe space training beforehand. What the hell is safe space training? Jesus Christ. We shouldn't even have safe spaces. The only safe space should be a lockbox or a panic room. Consider making an LGBTQIA-friendly organization the beneficiary for fundraising events or service days. So they're telling you who to donate to now. Don't worry about veterans benefits or anything else. Just give all your money to LGBTQIA organizations. What if I want to give to, the Catholic Church? I wonder how they would think about that. Check the sponsors, vendors, etc. have positive stance on LGBTQIA inclusion. This whole thing is obsessed with LGBTQIA. I don't even know what the IA mean. I barely know what the LGBTQ means. Be aware of differences of ability-disability. Is contact of information about requesting accommodations available for participants to see? Are you presenting information on multiple formats? If you're using PowerPoint, will you provide the presentation to attendees afterwards? So, all right, basically, are you going to print out stuff on Braille for everybody? Jesus Christ, guys, do you know how expensive this is all getting to meet even a portion of this checklist? It would be cost prohibitive, to say the least. Is there a private spot available for people to go if they are triggered or overwhelmed during the event? Yeah, it's called home. Get your ass home. If you can't handle an event or a speech without being triggered, you have no place in university. You probably didn't belong there in the first place. You're probably an affirmative action recipient, and you have no business being in college. So get your ass home, you stupid social justice warriors. Are there multiple outlets for laptops? Does the room have capacity for wheelchairs? Yeah, you should have those things, but all right. If participants are moving around campus, has transportation been arranged? Yeah, it's called the bus or a car. Again, cost prohibitive. Have you chosen locations that are inclusive, i.e., entrances accessible, easy to reach? Does the building have elevators and accessible gender-neutral restrooms? So, yeah, if you're having an event, what if the event is out on the football field? Or what if your event is at the campus dairy farm? Are you supposed to have them come build wheelchair ramps? Do you know how expensive that would be? So stupid. Consider availability of space for pumping and lactation. Again, I think that one, the left would be cannibalistic, because the people who would have a problem with pumping or lactation would probably be the Muslim groups. If the cost of the event is prohibitive to low-income participants, are there routes for financial assistance? Yes, typical. They want you to pay for it. It's Marxism, right? Everybody else should pay for your stuff. Well, what about who's going to pay for my braille? Who's going to pay for my accessible parking and transportation and wheelchair ramps? Are you taking into consideration body size and individual preferences in terms of seating option? So basically, are the chairs too small for your big, fat, stinking feminist ass? And the answer is yes, probably so. And the answer is go lose some weight, you whale of a feminist. All right, so then it says, consider inviting feedback about your event's inclusivity through a town hall event. So basically, you have to have an event after your first event to find out how inclusive it was. And for that event, you have to have braille, you have to have kosher food, you have to build the wheelchair ramps. And so if that event isn't inclusive enough, then do you have another event after that to find out what happened with your second event, which was made to find out what went wrong with your first event? I think it could go on forever like that. That's the end of it, guys. But see, this is what happens when social justice warriors, these left-wing subversives, take over our universities. And look, it's bad. I look at schools every now and then for my daughters, and I've been looking at these private schools like Duke, Wake Forest, Tulane, because I don't want my daughters to go to a Marxist indoctrination camp. Well, what I found is on these major schools, especially like Duke and Clemson, I noticed that the first thing on their websites says, we are committed to excellence through diversity. Or it says something like, keeping up our tradition of social justice inclusivity. And it's all about social justice or diversity. It doesn't say anything on any of these web pages. And this is the main page for the college. It does not say anything about academia or, we're building careers. We're ahead of the game in science and engineering. It's like they don't care about those things. It's like the humanities departments have taken over the whole university. And that sort of makes sense because when you think about it, humanities is a joke, right? I mean, look, these people, they just make up crap. Make up stuff like race is a social construct or like black people can't be racist. They have all this free time on their hands because they're just doing things off the cuff. So unlike scientists who deal in facts and are busy with research, these people have nothing better to do than to just tear down the structures that built America and make our institutions into their own little mad scientist social experiment laboratories. And it's ridiculous. And this is what you end up with. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this list. I hope you share it with your friends so they can see how ridiculous things are getting right now. Follow me on my old channel, which is now no longer Marxism the New Age. It is InfoWars Stop the Purge. I changed the name to stand in solidarity with InfoWars, so it's InfoWars Stop the Purge. And you can follow me on my alt at Patriot Punk. Later, dudes.